Shalom, everyone. Being blessed with another opportunity to bring clarity to Yahweh's Holy Scriptures. And in the last video, we were reading about the sons of Elohim coming to the daughters of men. Let's read. Bereshit, or Genesis, the 6th chapter and the 1st verse. And it came to be when men began to increase on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men, that they were good, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. So here, those verses came from this book, the book of Enoch. And I want to read a little bit from the book of Enoch. It's First Enoch, chapter 7, verse 1. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height were 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants, or the Nephilim, turned against them and devoured man. And they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. Now, I always like to distinguish this as First Enoch, because there's a second and a third Enoch, even though it's not marked as first, but this is First Enoch. Not to get confused. So we see that the sons of Elohim began to sin against birds, beasts, reptiles, fish, and devour one another's flesh and drink the blood, or drink the blood. So to get an idea of this admixture that these fallen ones brought to the earth, or the admixture that developed from them sinning against animals and mixing of different species, creating new creatures that the Creator did not create. This is that miscreation that's not being taught, because the book of Enoch, for whatever reason, was separated from the original canon of the biblical writings. But Enoch sheds so much light on a lot of what we call sin and shows the origins of a lot of these different sins. So this admixture, where you have them sin against the different beasts or animals. Here's an example of the creatures that came with that admixture when you would mix the different species. You came up with different creatures. See, half human, half beast, ancient figures of myth. They call it myth, but this is not myth. This is coming straight from the book of Enoch. They love to use myth when something's not easy to explain. See, this is important to know because a lot of these images depict gods or who were considered gods of antiquity. And these individuals the different monsters that's being, or what we just read, being described in the book of Enoch, showing their origin. Now they want to call them mythical creatures to give you the impression that it didn't exist. But these are the creatures that gave way to the origins of mankind. The mixing of animal with man. So this is an excellent reference point, the book of Enoch. Because scientists, historians, they don't really talk about this. And they want you to think that it's something made up about this, but this is actually word. And this word gave us insight into the origins of these new creatures. Mankind is a new creature. The Most High did not make mankind. The Most High did not make these creatures. This is just an example. Of some of the images. These are the images of some of the creatures that we just read about. Man and animal was never supposed to be mixed. Never. And given to us. To promote. So I just wanted to give a brief example of this world before the flood. So when we left off in the last video, I stopped here in the 10th verse of the 6th chapter. And I'm going to continue to read here at the 9th. This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with Elohim, and Noah brought forth 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And the earth was corrupt before Elohim, and the earth was filled with violence. And Elohim looked upon the earth and saw that it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. And Elohim said to Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And see, I am going to destroy them from the earth. So, I just went back a little bit because this is where I left off in the last video, but I just went up just a little bit. I'm going to stop here at 13. And just to give further detail about the lawlessness and what brought about the deluge, is just a lot of it is what they taught. Just alone what they taught was atrocious. It was things that man used against man. Here, now, I have this blotted out. This is the name of the different fallen ones, and I just don't want to promote that. So I'm going to read, and I'm going to use the fallen one, or the sons of Elohim, things of that nature. And this fallen one taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of eyelids or makeup, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godliness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. And this adversary taught enchantments and root cutting. This adversary, the resolving of enchantments. This adversary taught astrology. This adversary, the constellations. This adversary, the knowledge of the clouds. This adversary, the signs of the earth. This adversary, the signs of the sun. This son of Elohim, the course of the moon. And as men perished, they cried, and their cry went up to heaven. So that's to give you a little bit more of an insight on the passage or the verse where Elohim looked upon the earth and saw it was corrupt. For all flesh had corrupted their ways on the earth. And a lot of the sciences or teachings were not put in place to enhance man. Man took it and used it against man. So therefore, those sciences that they brought, if the Most High wanted us to know about these different teachings, he would have taught it to us. But these individuals brought it and they helped corrupt society because man was not mature enough to deal with these teachings. We're talking about the corruption of society and how we, for centuries, have viewed society being gifted with this book called the Bible that gave us and gives us that moral compass. Because a lot of the things that we know, or we think we know, or we think that's beneficial to our lives, and we're talking about the different sciences, the different arts, the different mystery systems that we practice. We think that it's enhancing our lives when it's actually cutting off a lot of our blessings. It's just like I said, if the Most High wanted us to learn a lot of these sciences, he would have taught it to us. So I just wanted to give a brief look into that world before the flood and what led up to that flood. So if you've enjoyed the content that I've been bringing, subscribe, push the like button. And with that, I shall bid you shalom, peace, and prosperity.